It's wonderful for all of us to be here today in the beautiful city of Montreal. Je voudrais remercier notre équipe de Montréal qui a organisé cette assemblée. Vous avez fait un super boulot. Chapeau et merci. Thank you. I'd like to start today, like I did last year, by telling you a story. Earlier this year, two members of our CESO team sat down with Sean Atleo, the National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations. This wasn't our first meeting with the National Chief this year. Earlier in the spring, I had sat down with the National Chief and all of the regional chiefs to agree on some concrete actions related to our partnership agreement. But this time was different. This time, it was personal. Just a few weeks before Sean was re-elected for his second term as National Chief, he shared with us the story of his own mentorship experience with CESO. It occurred in the late 90s. Sean was in his early 20s, he was newly married, and he had a lot of ambition. He called it an entrepreneurial itch. He wanted to build a business, he wanted to be his own boss, but he also wanted something that could grow and could provide jobs and opportunity for others in his community. So he reached out to CESO for help. Help arrived in the form of a VA named Bud Porter from the West Coast with a strong business background. And Bud worked with Sean and his family to put structure and a plan around his hopes and dreams. And in the years that followed, Sean built not one but two thriving businesses. One was a successful coffee shop before the Starbucks days in Vancouver, and the other was Unique Human Resources Development, which went on to hold hundreds of training sessions for Aboriginal youth and aspiring entrepreneurs. Over the past decade, his work in business has taken a backseat to his work as an Aboriginal leader, where he has relentlessly pursued partnership between First Nations, the government, and corporate Canada. He sees CESO as playing an important role in these partnerships. In fact, the statement that Sean made that resonated the most with me was when he compared our VAs with the elders in his own community. He reflected on this and commended our VAs for the contributions they made. And he spoke about the old ways of First Nations looking to their elders for guidance and advice. He also reflected the value of someone instilling a little bit of confidence, giving you a few tools, someone to lean on in the early days, in the uncertain times. And when I hear this, I'm very proud, because this is what CESO does. Think of the lives that Sean Atleo has touched through his businesses and through his leadership. He achieved not only his personal goal of being his own boss, providing for his family, but he also went on to help many, many Aboriginal youth and entrepreneurs start their own successful businesses. And I can't think but think of how proud Bud Porter would be if he were here with us today. What I love about Sean's story is the focus on partnership. How working together with a common goal can create real, lasting, positive change in people's lives. At CESO, we're committed to partnership, and we know that real change takes time. We've been working in Haiti over the past 8 years or so in partnership with 3 other NGOs. Our focus in the work is economic development. And among the many achievements and outcomes there are building business associations, bringing business owners together so that they're stronger as a group than each of them are on their own. This has helped them to be able to provide for their families in a very challenging environment and also contribute to the Haitian economy. In Senegal, we've been working, mentoring with women in their roles as elected political representatives. Major changes there over the past few years, from a centralized government to local government, and gender equality has become a hot button issue. So through partnership with a local women's advocacy organization, 2 of our VAs went to Senegal to work with these women to strengthen their skills in leadership, in communications, in decision-making and lobbying. An amazing result. They have more confident, vocal political representatives that are really making a difference in the governance of their own communities. And these women have been responsible for major improvements in the lives of the people they represent. A few examples. They brought clean drinking water to one community, electricity to another. They've brought medical care to their communities, and they've helped create opportunity for women entrepreneurs. And amazingly, they've gone door to door in their communities to register the girls on a national registry so they can go to school. And in classic CESO style, we've done train the trainer so that these women continue to mentor other women as they enter the political system as elected officials. Now let's move a little closer to home. This year we continued our partnership with the Naskapi First Nation. The Naskapi live in subarctic Quebec, near the Labrador border. The community is remote and isolated. And like many Aboriginal communities, over half of their population is under the age of 19. Like many Aboriginal communities, they want to create and maintain their own healthcare system. So 2 years ago, they reached out to CESO to help them, support them in achieving their goals. So we worked through a combination of on-site and long-distance mentoring. We've worked with the community to build leadership skills in 10 of their healthcare providers. It's a multi-year commitment, but we're already seeing positive change. I want to read you a quote from Keith Leclerc, who is the community's healthcare director. This is what he says. He's seeing a shift, a definite increase in the confidence and ownership among our Naskapi clients. And for the first time ever, the community has a 2-year health plan. According to Keith, 3 years ago, planning didn't even exist in the community, and it was in constant crisis. These are only a few of the many stories I could share with you today. You have many more, many of your own. The list of our partnerships go on. In fact, it's 45 years long. And as Peter mentioned, in the years ahead, the nature and amount of our partnerships is going to grow. It's going to help us prepare and help us have the tools to be successful in the current funding environment. As we know, our traditional funders, all the acronyms come out, CEDA and ANSI, Aboriginal Affairs, have undergone significant internal change. We felt many of those changes last year, and more will come. CEDA had a 7.5% cut in their budget. We've seen reductions in staff. We've seen cuts to bilateral programs. We've seen changes in the requirements for volunteer sending organizations to get funding. And for the next round of funding, for the first time, there will be open competition. Aboriginal Affairs cut by 10%. And clearly under significant pressure to become more effective in meeting the needs of Aboriginal people. So what does this mean for CESO? In a nutshell, it means we need to raise the bar. We need to improve the way we structure our programs. We need to improve the way we deliver our value to our clients on the ground. We need to improve the way we measure and evaluate the impact that we have. And then, we need to challenge ourselves to do better. This year, we raised the bar. We worked incredibly hard and were rewarded with positive results. And I'd like to take a moment to reflect on those. At the AGM last November, as Peter said, we were in the early days of positioning, and there was a question from the floor, a good question, asking, is the restructuring going to be effective? And I remember answering, let's wait for next year's financials. Well, they're here. And I'm proud to say, for the first time since 2009, CESO has generated a surplus. Amazing. Last year, a loss of $1 million. This year, we generated a small surplus. That's no small feat. And I'm proud of every member of the CESO staff and every VA who contributed to this significant achievement. So exactly how did we turn things around? First, we right-sized. Peter mentioned focusing internally, getting our expenses in line with our revenues. We are a much leaner organization today. We're also a team that has worked tirelessly to improve our product. We've made significant improvements to our evaluations process. This is a major thing. It has allowed us to identify opportunities for improvements in our current programs and to inform future program development. We've continued structuring our programs around our 7 key service areas, which really resonates with our business-minded clients and partners. We've rolled out the partnership model to our national programs, a model that has been successful, highly successful in our international program, and with so many lead VAs in the room, you know what I'm talking about. And so far, we've been receiving positive results of its impact on the national side. It's a model that works. It ensures long-lasting, sustainable results. As many of you know, we created a VA pre-departure toolkit, something that prepares our VAs better before they go out into the field. It's an online resource, and it helps you, the VAs, bring back the success stories that are so vital in our ability to communicate the value that we can bring. And I'd like to thank those of you who have taken the time and made the effort to bring those stories back, to take those pictures. Thank you. We value those pictures, and if you have a look at our annual report, there are many, many wonderful examples. We need more. As we continue to build our communications and marketing toolkit, we will need more of these stories and pictures. Relationship building. This has been key to our success in the past year. We've spent more time, more energy, more focus, meeting with our clients, our funders, our partners, to better understand their needs. And also to better articulate and have them understand more deeply how we make a difference, how we catalyze lasting economic change. We know that economic development is becoming the cornerstone of many aid programs. So you can imagine that we are pounding the pavement with our message of stronger economies, better lives. Like I say, we've met with our major funders many times over the last year, and we will continue to nurture these relationships going forward. As Peter mentioned, we've been working hard to develop relationships with other NGOs, to collaborate, to be innovative in the way we tackle the challenges that are faced by our clients in the field. This partnership is important. It's important for our impact, but it's also important for our funders who are looking for collaboration. They're looking for ways to be more efficient, to reduce their administrative burden, and to stretch their aid dollars. One win over the past year, and as I look to Gail to give her kudos, is our partnership with TFOC, the Trade Facilitation Office of Canada. And I'd like to share a few statistics. When that RFP, request for proposal, came out, 167 proposals were submitted. Of those, CEDA deemed that 116 were eligible. Of those, only 30 were successful in getting funding. CESO was the only volunteer collaboration agency among them. A significant achievement, and one that definitely got the attention of the other players in our market. In this project, we will work with TFOC to increase the capacity of 5 trade-related institutions, trade support institutions in Guyana, Bolivia, and Burkina Faso. This program will help small and medium-sized businesses establish connections to international markets, particularly here in Canada. These businesses employ many people, approximately 4,000 people, many of whom are women. And we know they will reinvest their business success in their communities, in educating their families, further ensuring sustained economic impact. Leadership, another key factor to our success, is leadership. And we talked last year about continuing to focus on our board leadership and our board representation. We have almost a full board, only one opening that we will vote on later this morning. And I believe our board is a good balance. Peter talked about balance. It's a good balance of expertise and experience. But I believe that the most important thing is our board brings a passion for the work we do and a will to take our value proposition to the market and expand our program reach. Over the past year, they've worked hard as a whole, and Peter mentioned the market-facing committees, national, international, and corporate. We've also had a 4th committee focused on fundraising. The last one is the new committee for CESO. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. All of the efforts we've made over the past year to improve our operations, to improve our programs, to be creative in meeting the challenges our clients face on the ground. These aren't one-time activities. This is the new status quo for CESO. This culture of continuous creative improvement and growth. This is our new culture. And I believe it's part of our maturing as an organization. We have a stronger understanding today of who we are and the value we bring. Our unique value. A new focus on our clients and partners. And that understanding has helped and will continue to help us grow and evolve. It also informs our communications efforts, which we have stepped up considerably over the past year. Last year I talked about our new flagship brochure, and this year we've continued to create clear, professional marketing and communications tools. And we're listening. Based on client feedback, we created another version of the flagship brochure, one that was more visually appealing to our national audience. We've created success stories, postcards, full-length, small brochures, customized communication tools, and we will continue to do so based on the specific needs of our different markets. We've reworked and updated much of our website. And if you haven't been there lately, I encourage you to do so. And please visit my favorite section, multimedia. You'll find videos there. You'll find our interview with Sean Atleo. You'll find a wonderful piece on our work in Haiti, among others. I've also made significant efforts to improve my communication with staff and with VAs through written quarterly updates to keep you in the loop, through open conference calls so that we can have two-way communication. And attendance on those calls has nearly doubled on each call, which I believe means that you find the calls valuable. So I will continue to schedule these every 6 to 8 weeks. I talked about our fundraising committee a few moments ago. Fundraising has taken on a much greater importance for CESO than it has at any time in its history. Our continued evolution and growth must include fundraising, and it must be on a larger scale than we have ever envisioned in the past. We need to be able to meet the increasing cash contribution requirements of our funders. But we also need to stay ahead of the curve as funders contribute less and less to the infrastructure that's required to carry out programs. Funding also gives us flexibility. Flexibility to engage in revenue diversification, program building activities. It's a significant shift, and our fundraising committee has been hard at work on strategy and actions to help us achieve our goals. One of the first big outputs of this committee has been our case for support. We're just putting the finishing touches, polishing it. But this document is very important for many reasons. It articulates why give to CESO. Why give to CESO when there are so many other worthy organizations all competing for the same donor dollar? It highlights our 45-year history. It talks about our unique value. It lays out the reasons why our work in economic development is going to become even more vital in the years to come, here at home and abroad. So how are we going to use this case for support? Well, our board is going to use it for fundraising. Our other fundraisers, staff and VA, are going to use it. And it's designed to be flexible, to be used in whole or in part, so we can customize our message for the specific needs of our potential donors. Creating this document is a significant step forward to achieving our fundraising goals, but now the real work comes in. So we're actively working on a number of strategies to try and identify potential donors. These include reaching out to corporate contacts, friends of CESO, researching corporations, individuals, foundations, all trying to identify people where our mission would resonate with them. And our VA community is actively involved. We've had fundraising groups starting in BC, in Alberta, and right here in Montreal. So we look forward to working with these groups in the months and years ahead to achieve our goals. Over the past year, CESO staff has been hard at work, nurturing relationships, planting the seeds for future assignments and partnerships. And our VAs have been right here beside us, in the office, in the field, working with our clients, providing the wisdom and experience that Sean Atleo spoke about with such admiration. Our volunteer advisors, these elders in our society, gave over 5,300 hours of their time last year to help build stronger economies, better lives, here in Canada and abroad. That's some kind of partnership. So I'd like to thank you. Thank you for the gifts of your time, of your knowledge, of your wisdom, of your experience. And it continues to be my honor to work with such an extraordinary group of people. And I know that together in partnership, we can continue to make a difference in more lives and create a better world for generations to come.